fundamentals for professional success were never in any job description. They were never taught in any training program. They were barely mentioned in any business school curriculum. How decisions actually get made. Who the real influencers are, regardless of what the org chart says. How to navigate conflict without losing either the argument or the relationship. And how to know when to stay and when to leave. Welcome back to the Winning WorkSpan podcast. This is episode 6. Today, the real curriculum. We cover a lot of ground in this episode. Parts 4 and 5 of the Winning WorkSpan span 8 chapters, from entering the workforce through the later cycles of legacy and encore career. Think of this episode as the practical field guide that sits alongside the STEF trademark framework from last week. STEF tells you how to lead. What we cover today tells you how to survive long enough to use it. Because the workplace, any workplace, however well-intentioned, is a complex human system. It has formal rules and informal rules, stated values and operating values, official processes and actual processes. The professionals who thrive across a full work span are the ones who learn to read both sets and navigate the gap between them with honesty and skill. Chapter 12. Entering the Workplace. Dr. Chatterjee opens with an observation that should be required reading for anyone in their first job, or managing someone in their first job. The skills that got you hired are rarely the skills that will get you promoted. Your degree demonstrated that you can learn. Your grades demonstrated that you can perform under defined conditions. Your internship demonstrated that you can execute assigned tasks. None of those things demonstrates that you can navigate ambiguity, build credibility without formal authority, manage upwards skillfully, or make good judgments in situations where the right answer isn't in the textbook. The first 3 to 5 years of professional life, the foundation cycle, are about learning a completely different curriculum from the one that got you there. Dr. Chatterjee's checklist for Cycle 1. Understand how decisions actually get made in this organization. Not formally, actually. Who has to be consulted before anything significant moves? Whose objection can kill a project, regardless of what the org chart says? Understand how your boss succeeds. Their goals are your context. Helping them achieve their objectives is the fastest path to building genuine credibility. Become a safe pair of hands. The professional who delivers what they promised, when they promised it, without drama, without excuses, is invaluable at every level. Start building that reputation from day one. Chapter 13 moves into organizational navigation, the skills that determine whether you can move ideas and decisions through a system that doesn't formally belong to you. Dr. Chatterjee's core insight here. Influence without authority is not a political game. It is the professional recognition that in any complex organization, the most important outcomes require the cooperation of people over whom you have zero formal control. Learning to earn that cooperation through credibility, through generosity, through alignment, through the quality of your thinking, is not a soft skill. It is the load-bearing capability of mid-career success. Chapter 14. Career Change Decisions. The chapter for 2 AM. At some point in every work span, the question arrives, should I leave? And the way most people answer it is, not great. They leave impulsively, triggered by a bad performance review, a manager conflict, a compensation grievance that could have been resolved. Or they stay too long, out of inertia, familiarity, loyalty to an organization that is quietly outgrowing their contribution. Dr. Chatterjee's career change decision matrix weighs 4 factors. Growth trajectory. Is there still a meaningful next step for you here? One that develops the capabilities you need for your next learning cycle. Compensation. Is what you're earning fair relative to your market value, not just your internal benchmark? Values alignment. Does this organization operate in ways you can be proud of? When there's a conflict between values and results, which one wins? Optionality. Is staying here increasing or decreasing your future options? Are you building transferable capability and network, or becoming increasingly specialized in a context that may not exist in 5 years? His rule of thumb: if 2 or more of those 4 factors are deeply misaligned, the cost of staying is usually higher than the risk of moving. But the timing matters as much as the decision itself. Leaving too early means abandoning the investment before it has compounded. You haven't yet extracted the full value of what you've built in this context. Leaving too late means arriving at the next chapter carrying baggage, resentment, stagnation, a reputation that has quietly deteriorated, that poisons the new start. The professionals who navigate transitions most successfully tend to leave from a position of choice rather than crisis. They see the misalignment developing, and they start planning the next chapter before the pressure becomes urgent. A career change made from strength looks like confidence. A career change made from desperation looks like desperation. Chapter 15. The Stop Trademark Framework, and the surprising source of most career-limiting decisions. Dr. Chatterjee has spent 50 years in organizations, watching careers accelerate, plateau, and sometimes derail. And his observation about what causes the derailments is not what you'd expect. Most career-limiting mistakes are not made under dramatic pressure. They are made in the low-attention, low-energy moments when we mistake speed for decisiveness. The email replied to in anger before sleeping on it. The commitment made to please someone in the room without thinking through what it requires. The opinion offered too quickly in a meeting where holding it would have served better. The hire made in urgency that should have waited for the right candidate. The Stop Trademark Framework, stop, think, options, proceed, is deliberately uncomplicated. It is a pause mechanism. Stop before responding, committing, or deciding. Stop. Think, what is actually at stake here? What am I missing? Who else is affected? Options. What are the alternatives? Not just the obvious one. What else could I do? Proceed. Make the decision with intention, not with the momentum of the moment. The 3 minutes you spend before sending a difficult reply. The night you sleep on a job offer before saying yes. The question you ask before agreeing to a scope that doesn't quite fit. The pause is not indecision. The pause is the decision-making. Chapter 17. Time Management as Workspan Strategy. Dr. Chatterjee's opening observation. He has never met a successful professional who felt they had enough time. But he has met successful professionals who consistently did the most important things. That distinction is everything. Time management is not about doing more. Slow, it is about doing the right things and doing them first. The Workspan lens makes this visceral. If your career is 40 years and you spend the first 15 years busy rather than productive, busy with the urgent rather than the important, the compounding cost of that misalignment is enormous. Chapter 18 introduces the Workspan Scorecard Trademark, a 4-dimension measurement system that expands the definition of success well beyond compensation. Dimension 1, financial health. Not just income, net worth trajectory, financial security, and the freedom that financial discipline creates over time. Dimension 2, career capital. The skills, reputation, network, and options your workspan is building. Are you more capable, more credible, and more connected each year than the last? Dimension 3, relationship richness. The quality and depth of personal and professional relationships. The Harvard study of adult development, The longest study of human flourishing ever conducted found this to be the single strongest predictor of late-life well-being. Dimension 4. Well-being. Physical health, mental health, energy, and the ability to sustain high performance across decades rather than burning bright for a few years and exhausting yourself. A score that's strong on financial health but depleted on the other three isn't winning. It's an installment plan on regret. Chapter 19 is where Dr. Chatterjee's background in health and science enters the career book directly. And it may be the most important chapter that career professionals consistently skip past. He writes it plainly. Slow, a work span that outlasts your health span is a losing trade. You can have all the strategy, all the execution, all the followership generation, and none of it matters if you arrive at the peak years of your impact potential depleted, injured, or sick. Dr. Chatterjee identifies 4 pillars of workspan health. Sleep. Not as a recovery mechanism, as a performance variable. The research on cognitive performance under sleep restriction is stark. After 17 to 19 hours awake, performance on cognitive tasks is equivalent to a blood alcohol level of 0.05. Most chronic sleep deprivation is invisible to the person experiencing it. You adapt to feeling worse. Movement. Not as a wellness activity, as a career investment. Exercise increases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, the molecule that supports neuroplasticity and memory consolidation. The people who stay sharp in their later learning cycles are almost always the people who stayed physically active. Nutrition. As fuel for the kind of sustained cognitive performance a 40-year work span demands, not as comfort for the stress the work span generates. Mental health. The dimension most professionals only attend to after a crisis. The stress, isolation, and identity challenges of a long career need active management, not just during hard moments, but as a continuous practice. Chapter 20 asks the question that most professionals defer indefinitely. What does your career look like beyond traditional retirement? For most professionals today, the answer is not nothing. It is an encore phase, advisory work, board service, teaching, mentorship, the project you've been saving for later. Dr. Chatterjee's point: design the encore before you need it. Because the professionals who arrive at the encore unprepared discover that the networks, skills, and opportunities that enable a meaningful encore were built across decades, not assembled in the final year before retirement. Your reflection questions this week. First, if you scored yourself on the WorkSpan scorecard today, financial health, career capital, relationship richness, and well-being, which dimension is most underfunded? Not which one you wish were better, which one is actually suffering right now. Second, are there career change signals in your current role, growth trajectory, compensation, values alignment, or optionality that you've been ignoring? What would the career change decision matrix say? Your action this week: set one health intention that connects directly to your professional performance. Not a resolution, a specific scheduled behavior. That starts this week, not next month. Because your health span is the foundation of your work span. And the foundation is always built before the structure rises. Next episode, the one I've been building toward since episode 1. The AI Workspan Revolution. What AI actually means for your career. How to position yourself in the human-AI partnership. The human advantage model. And the emerging career models that are being built right now in companies that didn't exist 5 years ago. Dr. Chatterjee isn't just theorizing here. He's actively investing in and building these companies through his venture work. This is the closest thing in the book to reporting from inside the future. That's episode 7 of the Winning Workspan podcast.